Coming up on Mountain News this morning, people across the Commonwealth prepare to cast their ballots in the primary election, and a popular outdoor attraction gets some major funding to help its visitors enjoy their stay just a bit more.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
6 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. I'm Dakota Makris. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for waking up with us. And let's check in with meteorologist Cameron Aaron. Cameron, during the break, we were looking at the sunrise over in Moorhead. Am I right? Moorhead. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful start to the day, and it's going to be a beautiful day overall. So I know, Dakota, we have a lot of things going on today across the mountains, and it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day. Let's start out over at UVA-wise. The sun hasn't set, the sun hasn't risen at this part of the mountains just yet, but we are still looking at that moon back into the distance. We had that lunar eclipse earlier this weekend, but right now that full moon still shining over there. Temperatures are in the upper 40s and lower 50s, 52 here in Hazard, 56 in Pikeville, 43 in Clintwood, and 47 in Manchester. And up on satellite and radar, a clean sweep this morning. Nothing in terms of cloud cover or rainfall, and that is going to be the story throughout the rest of today. We stay dry under that sunny sky, highs in the upper 70s and lower 80s in spots, but we are watching out for possible storms by tomorrow. I have that full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Cameron, thank you. Well, today is Kentucky's primary election, and early voting ending Saturday. Statewide, Democratic voters will choose who will likely be an opponent for Senator Rand Paul. And here in the mountains, well, we have a large number of local races we're keeping an eye on. The polls just opened and will stay open until 6 p.m. The early voting numbers are in, and the Secretary of State says they are lower than anticipated. Shelby Lofton tells us what changes are coming to Kentucky's election laws that will impact future elections.
We are dialing down our prediction for turnout from roughly 25% under 20%.
Secretary of State Michael Adams said lower than expected early voting numbers indicate lower turnout on Election Day.
I think it'll take a couple of election cycles for Kentuckians to realize that early voting is now a permanent fixture.
Adams said he wishes more people were passionate about the primaries.
But these elections that are happening now are more important than who is elected president.
He said competition will bring people out.
Turnout will be relatively high in some parts of the state that have competitive local races.
The secretary said he feels confident about election integrity.
We have not seen any evidence of fraud or malfeasance.
He also noted a few bills that became law. House Bill 564
increased the number of voting days for those who can't vote in person during early voting or on Election Day.
Senate Bill 216
provides for video surveillance of election equipment when the voting hours are not ongoing.
And a big change coming.
Full transition away from electronic voting machines to universal paper ballots. It's also better for me to do an audit or do a recount to actually have ballots.
The Secretary of State said he encourages Kentucky to come out to let their voice be heard. In Frankfort, Shelby Lofton, WKYT.
Well, on another note, you may notice results come in a little slower tonight than previous elections. The State Board of Elections cut ties with the company that provided the software to upload results from county clerk offices. The state is now using its own system. Results will be reported county by county instead of precinct by precinct. The board says its system will be fully operational and back to normal by the November election. Clerk's offices across the region have been checking voting machines, counting mail-in ballots, and doing everything else necessary to prepare for Election Day. But with the timing of the May primary and because many of the voting sites are schools, county clerks like Clay County's Beverly Craft are having to work around different things that conflict with setting up voting booths.
They're having kindergarten graduations and awards ceremonies and everything today, so we're having to schedule around those to deliver the machines because of getting the big truck in with all the parents and the extra traffic that is at school today. So that's been, you know, a little bit something that we've had to deal with that we normally don't.
Another hurdle, she says, her office has dealt with is securing election officers and retaining older officers on the new equipment. Attorney General Daniel Cameron urges Kentuckians to report suspected election law violations to the Attorney General's election fraud hotline. Election fraud can include campaign violations, electioneering, bribery, poll distribution, and more. To report suspected violations, call 1-800-328-VOTE. The hotline is active throughout the year and records messages 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The hotline is staffed from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And if you don't know where to cast your vote, you can head to Kentucky's voter information portal to find your polling place. If you voted by absentee ballot, well, it's too late to mail it in. You'll need to make sure it's in a drop box today. And remember, polls close at 6 p.m. We'll have results at the bottom of your screen and on WYMT.com as those results come in. Kentucky's weekly COVID-19 positivity rate is back above 9%. The state's latest weekly report shows that there have been more than 1.3 million cases of COVID-19 in Kentucky since the pandemic started. The state has also recorded 15,830 deaths. The positivity rate, as mentioned, currently sits around 9.35%. Currently, 12 counties have a medium level of transmission. 9 of those counties are in eastern and northeastern Kentucky. While families continue to search the shelves for baby formula, doctors worry some may turn to desperate measures to make what they have last longer. Grayson Passmore tells us why at-home solutions to the shortage could be deadly.
As grocery store shelves continue to lack formula, parents may be taking potentially deadly measures to feed their babies. And they probably don't even know it.
And people will try to add a little more water, kind of like if you're at the end of shampoo in your shampoo bottle and you just add a little water to make a little more until you get to the store. The problem with doing that is babies' kidneys don't work like adult kidneys.
A Lexington pediatrician, Dr. Elizabeth Haas, says when you put more water into their formula than should be there, you end up lowering the level of sodium in baby's blood.
And that can cause them to have some brain damage and seizures, so we definitely don't want to see that happen.
DIY ways to make formula last longer have been circulating all over social media. Now people are even posting recipes to make your own formula at home.
People will say, my mom made my formula and I'm here. Yes, you're here, but we had many kids your age that died because they were getting too much water in the formula, or their development was not optimal because there weren't enough nutrients. So we're not at that desperate of a situation yet that we can't help you find formula or choose an alternate formula.
Both Dr. Haas and Dr. Katrina Hood at Pediatrics and Adolescents Associates say unless your child has allergies, most formula brands can be replaced for one another, the way you would a Coke or a Pepsi.
Talk to your pediatrician, and sometimes they have some samples so should be able to provide, or they can help hopefully direct in a different way, or give you even potentially samples of other formula.
That was Grayson Passmore reporting. The FDA says it is streamlining its review process to make it easier for foreign manufacturers to ship formula into the U.S. Some Kentucky municipalities, fiscal courts, and universities will receive a portion of nearly $5 million for waste-related projects. The 71 projects to receive funding focus on expanding recycling, reducing the amount of solid waste going into landfills, or improving the environmental management of household hazardous waste. The Bell County Garbage, Big Sandy Regional Recycling, City of London, and Pulaski County Fiscal Court are some of the entities in eastern Kentucky to receive funding. Break Center State Park will receive more than $358,000 in grant money from the Appalachian Regional Commission for the Ratliff Hole area renovation project. Well, the money will be used to renovate parking and restroom facilities, as well as repave and an access road and create a new trail at the Ratliff Hole area of the park located in Pike County. The trail will connect to a pedestrian bridge over the Russell Fork River, which will be more than 750 feet when completed. Well, that makes it the longest pedestrian swinging bridge in the United States. The Hagen Scholarship allows students in rural areas to go to any college of their choice with the chance to graduate debt-free. Zoe Castle and Brooklyn Arms are the recipients from Johnson Central High School this year. Well, they work tirelessly in the classroom with volunteer service, extracurriculars, and even balancing requirements for the scholarship.
One thing about the scholarship is you have to work 240 hours by the beginning of your fall semester.
Well, the girls will receive $12,000 a year from the Hagen Scholarship on top of several others that have been awarded.